I had this one client, same story as many others. He had his budget down to a science. He was tracking every dollar and cent for months. Even said he was so good with money now, he was uneven looking forward to his wife joining him on his trip to Europe, because he didn't want her ruining his streak of perfect money management. But here's what was interesting. While he was proud of his budgeting streak, he wasn't actually any better off than when he started. His balance sheet looked pretty much identical, and when we sat down and did some deep analysis, it became clear why. He had been shuffling money around instead of growing it. He had been playing the zero-sum game of budgeting where he cut back on this or that and saved just enough to not go into debt. And that's it. He was basically just doing the bare minimum. And while that is definitely an improvement over not budgeting at all, the reality is, if you only do the bare minimum, you're probably not going to see a big change in your overall wealth. You might feel better about your finances, which is important, but your actual net worth isn't likely to change all that much. Here's what I mean. Take a look at this chart. It shows the average net worth of Americans by age. As you can see, net worth starts low, increases throughout your life, and then starts to decrease again in your later years. What does this tell us? Well, it tells us that people are living paycheck to paycheck for most of their lives. They aren't really building wealth until they are close to retirement. But once they get there, they start to run out of money. Now, this is the average American, so obviously there are exceptions. Some people are wealthy in their 20s and 30s. Others never retire at all. But the point is that most people aren't really thinking about growing their wealth. They are just trying to get by. Why is this? Well, part of it is inertia. People tend to stay on the same path they are already on. So if you start out spending more than you earn, you will probably continue to do so. But another part of it is that people don't know how to grow their wealth. They know how to save money. After all, we have been taught to do so since we were kids. But saving money is not the same as growing your wealth. In fact, if you are not growing your wealth, you are actually losing it. That's because inflation erodes the purchasing power of your money over time. So if you have $100,000 today, you won't be able to buy as much with it 5 years from now, unless you have invested it in something that has grown in value. The truth is, most people have not. Take a look at this chart. It shows the percentage of Americans who are invested in the stock market. As you can see, it's not very high. Only about a third of Americans own stocks. If we take a look at the numbers, we find that the median stock holding for a U.S. household is less than $6,000. So clearly, most Americans are not investing enough to make a real difference. And that is a problem because investing is one of the best ways to grow your wealth. Over the long term, the stock market has returned around 10% per year. So if you had invested $100,000 in the stock market 30 years ago, you would have around $1 million today. Now, obviously, no one knows what the stock market will do in the future. It could go down next year. But over the long term, it has always gone up. And that is why investing is such a powerful way to grow your wealth. The thing is, though, you can't invest if you don't have any money. And that is the problem that most people face. They don't have any extra money to invest. They are living paycheck to paycheck. But here's the thing. Living paycheck to paycheck is a choice. You can choose to stop living paycheck to paycheck. You can choose to save some money. And when you save that money, you can invest it and start growing your wealth. But most people don't. Most people are comfortable with living paycheck to paycheck. It's easier that way. You don't have to worry about investing. You don't have to worry about the stock market. You don't have to worry about anything. You just live paycheck to paycheck. And the problem with that is that eventually you get older and you retire and you realize that you have nothing. You have no money. You have no financial security. And that is not a good place to be in. I mean, I'm sure you have seen it happen before. Maybe it happened to you. Maybe your parents did. You didn't save enough money for retirement, and now they have to work until they are 70 or older? Or maybe you have seen people who saved a lot of money for retirement, and then they retired, and they ran out of money within a few years. Either way, it is a sad situation to be in, and it is avoidable. The key is to start early. If you start saving a little bit of money when you are young, you can invest it and let compounding interest work its magic. By the time you are old, you will have a lot of money. But here's the thing. Compounding interest works both ways. The earlier you start, the better. But the longer you wait, the worse it is. For example, if you start saving $100 a month at age 20, when you're 40, you will have around $1 million. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I am too young to save money. I have to enjoy my life. I have to spend money. But here's the thing. You don't have to choose between enjoying your life and saving money. You can do both. In fact, saving money can help you enjoy your life more because it gives you financial security. It gives you peace of mind, and that is priceless. Plus, you don't have to save a lot of money. Just a little bit each month is enough. It all adds up over time. So if you want to build wealth, if you want to have financial security, if you want to be able to retire comfortably, start saving money. Invest it and let compounding interest work its magic. It is the best way to build wealth. It is the best way to secure your future. And it is not as hard as you think. It just takes a little bit of discipline. And if you can do that, if you can just save a little bit of money each month, I promise you, you will be able to retire comfortably. You will not have to worry about money. And that is the ultimate goal, isn't it? Look, I get it. Budgeting is hard. Saving money is tough. But the alternative, living paycheck to paycheck, working until you are 80, running out of money in retirement, that is not an option. You deserve more than that. We all do, so let's make a change. Let's start saving money today so that we can retire comfortably tomorrow. Because remember, it's not how much you earn that matters. It's how much you keep.